the way that we can go deeper in poses is having awareness on our breath, moving with compassion and love. So this will just be about self-love, and we'll do that as we move through our practice today. So you'll want a blanket, a bolster, and a couple blocks. Start in a seat. And just let the hands rest. And the palms can either face upwards or down. And then tilt your pubic bone forward. Head and arm bones roll back. So spine is tall but not rigid. Low back pulls in and up. Soft gaze off the tip of your nose or close your eyes. Good. Fold your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale. Exhale. Open the eyes. Let the hands fall. We'll start in a heart opener, shoulder opener in a supported fish pose. So you'll do this with either 2 blocks or a bolster. If you want to use a bolster or a firm pillow, you'll take the bolster and it'll be across the upper back, the shoulder blades, so that your shoulders are going to rest above your mat. And that's going to help keep the opening in your shoulders versus a back bend. And then I want you to take a block to support the back of your head. You can take that on whatever setting feels good for you. And then with the legs, you can either bend your knees in or maybe try the straightening. And then you'll just be here. So another version of this could be 2 blocks, block vertical between shoulder blades or underneath or along the shoulder blades horizontally. So you'll come down and then 1 block behind your back of your head, arms out to the side. So just choose which one feels good to you, because remember, this is all about self-love. And so let the practice be nourishing. And I want you to feel supported. And if your blocks are really firm, you might even take a blanket over the block, specifically underneath your shoulder blades. So just choose where you want to be. Good, and then you might close your eyes. And let the chest open up and the shoulders. Jaw soft. And then tune inside, settle in. Find stillness as quickly as possible. If your legs are extended, see if you can let the inner and outer ankles relax so the feet just fall to the side. So we're not having any muscle engagement. We want to go more into connective tissue, fascia. That's what surrounds our muscles. Inhale breath. Exhale breath. So whatever variation you took, just bend the knees and gently roll off to one side. It could feel a little intense after being on blocks. And then just let yourself be here for a moment. And then go ahead and press yourself up to a seat. And we'll come to a seated forward fold just to counter that. So again, you know, if you have tight hamstrings, the best case scenario is to sit up on a blanket or a bolster if particularly tight, or even a block. So we want the pelvis to tilt forward, legs are straight. You'll bring your block or your bolster in between your legs. And then hinge at your hips. And once your hips kind of stop you, or your hamstrings, you'll feel when that happens, because your back won't want to round. And we're going to let the back round for the purposes of this practice. So you'll take your blocks and stack them, or you'll grab your bolster and hug it, and then rest your forehead down. So you can tuck your chin, really let your back round here. And if you're hyper flexible in your knees, you want to keep a little bend in them, so you might slide a blanket underneath your knees. Okay. And then turn inside. Let your forehead rest. As quickly as possible, find stillness. Make the adjustments that you need so that you can stay here for a good amount of time. And you want to push yourself, to like, or not even push yourself, but go into like 70 to 80% of the deepness in this stretch versus 100%, because as we hold it longer, we're going to naturally go deeper. So we need a little space to get there. Okay. Let the ankles soften, feet fall out to the sides. Now that we're at the halfway point, if you want to go deeper by changing the height of your block, go for it. Inhale breath. Exhale breath. Good. And then use your hands to come on up. And the next pose that we'll do, you can grab your blocks. And you might even take a blanket for padding for your back shin. So we'll start with the left foot forward, and you can slide your right knee back. And then hands can be at the blocks unless you're super flexible and can just come down. But we'll start with a straddle along the front foot. We'll stay here about 10 rounds of breath, and then I'll offer some deeper variations. So we've got the knee stacked over the ankle for alignment. And then we're gonna let the hips become heavy, pelvis heavy as it draws forward. Hands surround the front foot, and then you can just take the gaze down. So deep opening here in the front of the right hip. You can tuck the back toes. So just remember, we're not going to our full potential in terms of a stretch here. It's more about kind of getting to that 70% point so that we can continue to go deeper after this first minute or so. Good, and then if you want to go deeper, heel toe your feet out to the edge of your mat. Depending on what you need today, because this is your practice, this is your self-love practice, you can take your right hand and keep it down on your mat or to a block. And then you can take your left hand to your left hip, lengthen your heart forward, and take a twist. So you'll look back. And then this is where you might stay. Another option, which I'm going to do, is bringing both hands inside my front foot. And I'm going to bring my forearms down to a block because I know I can't go all the way down to the floor. And then if you're really open in your groin, your hips, your hammies, you can move into full splits. Let your gaze relax. Upper body is just rounding and hanging. And we're looking for that deep opening in the front of the right hip. And then just notice what information you're receiving from your body. No judgment around that, whether it's positive or negative, you're just noticing. Inhale breath. Exhale breath. Good. Whatever variation you're in, slowly make your way back up. Of course, we'll go to the other side, but before that, if you want to take a child's pose or a down dog, go for it. Just a little counter pose. Good. Bring yourself back up and we'll switch sides. So left knee is back on your mat or your shin, toes tucked. You can scoot your knee back a little bit. And then we start with both hands surrounding your front foot. Whether that means you need to be up here on blocks is going to be up to you. How does your body feel today? Otherwise, pelvis heavy. Knee scoots back. 10 rounds of breath here. Good. Next option, both hands inside your front foot as you heel toe the foot toward the edge of your mat. You're going to choose a twist. I just want you to pick whatever you did on the other side. So hand can come down to your mat or a block, right hand to right hip. Let your heart scoot forward and then twist. Take your gaze back. And then you can let the left hip dip down. Or you'll come into full splits or forearms to a block. Let your head hang. We're not at 100% yet, nor do we ever need to be. It's more about giving us some room to go deeper into the pose. On your sides, the difference between them could feel completely different in a way that it doesn't even feel like you have the same body on each side, and that's okay. That's normal. Good. Inhale breath. Exhale breath. And then wherever you're at, Slowly and mindfully come out, child's pose or down dog. Good, and then bring yourself back up. Next pose, we'll go into a twist, and I'll show you a couple ways that you can do this. So you could be certainly on your back. I'm just going to bring my back to you for a moment so you can see the different twists. So one type of twist, bending knees a lot, taking them to one side, arms out to the sides, and then look over the opposite direction of your knees. Or you'll take potentially cat pulling its tail. So you'll take a block out to the side. Actually, maybe this will be okay. Right leg comes up. You can roll all the way to your left side so that the foot is just resting on a block, okay? And then you could actually keep both legs straight out to the side, or you might bend your left knee and kind of kick it back. That could feel like enough. Or you can take your right hand and reach for the left foot. Melt both shoulder blades down. And then take your gaze to the right, left arm out to the side. So cat pulling its tail pose. So decide which one works for you. And then settle in. And then once you're there, just close your eyes or let the gaze be soft. Maybe take your head in the opposite direction of your legs. And then make any adjustments you need to just be comfortable here. Maybe that means your right leg that's crossed over your body needs to come down lower, just so it's not super intense, but we're looking at that 70 to 80%. Inhale breath. Exhale breath. Good, and then let the foot go. Bend the upper knee, come back to your back. And then just make your way to the other side. Taking knees in, both of them, and taking them over to the right or setting up your block. And then rolling to your right, you can straighten your left leg out, perpendicular from the body, bending your knee that's on the bottom, and grabbing for the foot if you like. And come back to your back, and then you take the gaze to the left. As thoughts arise, bring your focus back to your breath. Good. Inhale breath. Exhale breath. And let that go. Make your way back to your back. Just take some knees, or your knees in, circles each way. Good. Now, if you have a wall, I'm going to show you a pose that we'll do at the wall. If you don't have a wall, you'll take the pose seated, and we'll come into a straddle forward fold. So legs in a letter V as wide as you can. You can just let the feet relax. You don't have to drive the heels down. And then you would grab your bolster again or blocks. We're looking for a nice opening through the inner thighs and groin. And then rest your head down. Okay, the other option, if you have access to a wall, is you'll scoot your hips up and come on down. Take your legs up. And then the weight of the legs can be quite heavy, especially since we're working with gravity helping us with this. So if you like, you can take your blocks or any props here underneath the thighs. This way, it'll stop the opening from happening at 100%, which could potentially like pull a muscle or something. So find your 70% point and then just let the legs rest down. Let the feet relax. Arms can go out to the side or stack on your belly. You could take one hand to your heart and one hand to your chest, but you get to decide that. And then once you're there, soft gaze, close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Take your hands outside the thighs if your legs are up the wall, just to help guide them up super slow. And then bend your knees. And take your knees off to one side. Gently press yourself on up to a seat. Okay, so next we'll go into pigeon, and there's many different ways to do this. So yogi's choice, you'll either be on your back, you'll take your right foot down or whichever one, left ankle crosses over, reclined figure 4. Okay, and then you'll just take the shape a little side to side, see what you like best, or you'll interlace your fingers through the gap and just kind of stay here and hold this. The other option is going to be at the wall, and I'm going to take that just because it's a deeper stretch. You'll scoot one side up against the wall. And the closer your booty is to the wall, the more intense. So I'm going to start with the booty away from the wall. You'll cross your ankle over the thigh. And you'll just take the shape a little side to side. Notice where you feel the most intensity, and then you might just decide to hang out there. You can take your arms out to the sides, or one hand belly, one hand chest. You can even come into your ujjayi breath here with that oceanic sound, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Inhale, breath. Exhale. Good. Switch sides. Remember, the sides could be vastly different. Just taking little or very little effort to get to this other side. And then just find that sweet spot again by rocking to the left a little bit or the right, and hang out there. Breathe through sensation. Ujjayi breath. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. Good. Unwind. Roll on to one side. Press yourself up. And then we'll just come down to our backs. And we will do an inversion. So if it's okay for you to get your hips above your heart, you're going to grab a block and put it under the height that works for you, underneath your sacrum. So your sacrum is right above your tailbone. It's like a flat triangle part. Now your feet can come down. Your arms can be out. Your chin will lift a little bit because notice that my chest wants to move up toward my chin. And if you want to open up more here in front of the hips and get a little back bend, you'll walk maybe one leg forward, and I can let you know to switch, or both legs, or you stay here. So I think I'm going to start with one leg, and then I'll just let you know where to switch if you take that variation. And if you took one leg forward, go ahead and switch. And then the leg that's extended long, just let the ankles again just relax. So you don't need to engage your leg, your muscles. Just let the foot fall out to one side. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. Good. Bend the left knee. Press down into your feet and the block. Make sure you feel really secure on the block, and then just bring one knee in and the other. Now you take your knees side to side a little bit. Good. Now take your feet down, lift the hips, move the block aside. Okay, so now we'll make our way into our final relaxation, which will be Shavasana. And I really want this to feel really nourishing and really loving and compassionate to yourself. So that means you can grab a bolster, let it rest underneath your knees. You can grab an eye pillow, because I will stay with you here for a short time, and then I want you to enjoy your final relaxation as long as you can. So you'll come down to your back, cover yourself up with a blanket or an eye mask, and just get nice and cozy. Let the feet fall out to the side. The back of your head gently rests. Your arms can be nice and wide. And then just come into your natural breath cycle. So think about not only as you inhale and exhale, like of course the belly and chest rise, but let the whole body breathe. So think about sending the inhale breath. Think about it as a way to expand the rib cage and breathe into all the little nooks and crannies of the body that might have a little darkness. And then just make those subtle adjustments that you need to surrender to gravity. Eyes closed. Back body heavy on your mat. Relax the tongue off the roof of your mouth. Let your jaw soften. Space between the eyebrows. Shoulders heavy. Take a scan of your body from your toes all the way up through your crown. Just notice where you can become more heavy. So act with love today, whatever that means for you. Doing something nice for yourself. Filling up your cup for whatever makes you feel love and happiness. Namaste.